Buddy, in this screencast, we'll talk about how you can set up Google Maps for Android app version Google Maps Android version 2. Let me tell you before we do all of that, what is my setup here? So basically, I'm not using the normal emulator that ships with the SDK. Instead, the problem with that emulator, it doesn't come with Google Play services, and it's been a very big hassle to install it on it and so on. In addition, you can also do the same thing if you can do exactly what we're going to do today if you have an actual device. So if you have an actual device, you can run Google Maps on it because you have Google Play services, and thus you can use a device. But what I'm going to use here is a special emulator. It's Genymotion emulator, and in another screencast we'll talk about how you can install this on your device and so on. So this is the emulator that I'm going to use, okay? And to be able to install or to use Google Maps for Android version 2, you actually need to install a library or install and download a library, the Google Play services, or you need to set up the Google Play services library. So to do that, you need to go to, so I'm assuming that you have Eclipse or the ADT installed and you have the Android SDK. So there is the Android SDK manager. You click on that. And in the Android SDK manager, if you scroll down to the bottom here, you will find that there is Google Play services for Froyo or Google Play services. So you need to install Google Play services. Okay, Froyo is the older version. You might need it, but you need to install Google Play services. So you will just click here and you click install. I have it already installed, and you go through the process and it will get installed. What this will do is that it will install it in under the ADT. If you're using the ADT, under the ADT, it will install it. I will show you where exactly in a little bit. So now after you install it, you need to actually import a library project that got downloaded when you downloaded the Play services, the Android Play services. So if once you download the Google Play services, it actually downloads a folder into the ADT under the extras directory, and in that folder there are multiple folders, and one of them is, or multiple subfolders, and one of them is a library project that you need to import inside Eclipse. So to do that, you will go to File and you will say Import, and basically under the Android tab you will say Existing code into workspace. Click on Next, and then it asks you where is that code. You will do Browse, and basically if you look here, this is my ADT bundle. Okay, this is where my ADT is. I will go to the SDK folder, or maybe let me do it this way. So I'll go to the SDK folder, and then under the SDK folder there's an extras folder, and then under the extras folder there is a Google folder, and then here is the Google Play services. Under the Google Play services there is a library project. If you look here, so this is actually an Eclipse project. You could see here this is a project, so you need to import this project. So let's go up again. So basically SDK, extras, Google Play services, lib project, Google Play services underscore lib. Say open, and you say, I advise you to copy it into your workspace. You need to check this box that will copy the contents into your workspace, and you click on finish. So basically you could see here it just created a project. Okay, that project has the library required to access the Google Play services. Okay, then I will create a new project. I'll create my project. I'll call it, say for example, Google, or say Maps. I'll call it Maps Demo, for example, the Maps Demo. Okay, that is my project. Okay, so now this folder has the Google Play services. Okay, and this is the project that we created. Now we want to link our Maps Demo project to the Google Play services project. So you'll select the Maps Demo project, File, and select Properties, and then under that you could see that you could go to Resources. Under Android, you go under Library and you click on Add, and it lists all the library projects that are available, and one of them is Google Play Services Library. Very nice. Okay, and you would say okay. So basically now this connects. What this is going to do, it is going to connect the Google Play Services Library with our Maps demo library. Okay, very nice. So now we have done this connection. So basically all what we have done so far is downloaded the Google Play Services library, imported it into Eclipse, then connected our project, our Maps project, to the Google Play Services library. Now, the second thing we need to do after connecting them or after linking these two projects is we need to actually apply for a key, okay, for create an Android, sorry, a Google application that has access to the Google Maps API, and then we need to give it access to or connect our application with the Google app that we have. So if you go, there is complete documentation on these steps in this link. If you go and it gives you complete documentation of all these steps. But let me just fast forward. So to actually, so now you have this app, you have this Android app. Now you need to go to your Google, the Google API console. Okay, so how do you find that? If you go to this link, it will show you where is the Google API console. There is a link to it here, or you can just go to Google and search for Google API console, and you will log in, and it will show you a dashboard. And on the left, you will click here, and you will create a new project. And under that project, you will say it's a, you call it something. I'll call it, say, for example, it is my Google Android Maps project, for example, or app. Okay, so that's my project here. Okay, so you created the project. See here, this is our project, and then it tells you what services does this project require. So we know that we are going to access, we need the Google Maps Android version 2. You'll click on. You see there are so many APIs, but you have to be careful. The one that you will enable is Google Maps Android API version 2. Okay, so this means that this project, okay, has access to this API. Now on the left here, there is something called API access. And you could see it shows you all the keys and the API keys that are there. You see one of the choices here is create new Android key. Click on create new Android key, and one, it needs a SHA-1, it needs the SHA-1 certificate fingerprint and the package name of the project, and they have to be comma separated. So how do I get the SHA-1 of my project? You go to your ADT, preferences, and then this is your SHA-1. See your SHA-1 fingerprint. You'll copy it. Okay, so we'll go back to your console. Here is the SHA-1 certificate. Then you click semicolon. Then you need to know what is the package name of the application, your application. So here is the package name of my application. Control C, go back to the console, Control V, and you can see here that it is the SHA-1 certificate, semicolon, and then the package name. Say create, and you could see here what got created is an API key. Okay, and shortly I'll show you where to use this API key and so on. So now what you have done is that you have created an Android app. Now you also have created a Google project. Okay, so this project, you give it access to the Google Maps for Android API version 2. You give it access to that API, and then after you do that, we will connect the Android app to the project, the Google project that we created, and it generates a key. Now, if you go back to the reference, what we have to do now is we basically have to add some fields inside the manifest file of your Android application. One of the fields is the key. So we just generated that key. Basically, we'll add some metadata. Okay, and this metadata is right before the application tag. Okay, where I'm getting these from, I'm just go to this link, which is the Google developers. There is a metadata, and here it is a key value pair. The name of the variable is what is the key, and then this is your API key. So what is my API key? You go back to the console. You see here, this is for Android. This is the API key. Go back. Sorry, we will go back here. and we'll insert our API key here. You can see that you do this right before the closing of the application tag. Very nice. That's one. Two, you need to add some kind of permissions. So now the any application that uses Google Map, you need access to the internet so that you can download the stitches of the map that is going to be loaded. At the same time, these stitches are going to be cached. These parts of the map that you see are images. They will be cached. Thus, they use a disk cache. Thus, it needs read and write to external storage. Okay, write to external storage. At the same time, some maps have an indicator. If you click on it, it basically allows you to find where your location is, so it communicates with the location providers. So in that case also you need permissions related to the location providers. So you can see here there is a summary of the permissions that you need to add. I'll copy this, and then in the manifest file, just before the application tag, I'll paste them, Ctrl Shift F to auto format, and you can see here we added the permissions. Now at the same time also you need to specify what is that it uses OpenGL ES version 2. To do that also, it's just right under uses SDK. Okay, we pasted it here, and basically that is all what you need to do. Okay, there is also a link where you have to specify what is, if you scroll up, there's something we missed, the version of the Android the Google Play services that you are using. So this is some kind of a metadata tag also that you need to include, and you will include it right after the application tag. You see here application open, you just put the meta tag. This is the version of the Google Play services. So we have built all the Android manifest. Here's your Android manifest. Okay, and you see all of the stuff I just retrieved from this link here. Now after that, you actually need to add a map to your layout, and this is the code to add a map. So basically this map is a fragment. Okay, so you'll go to your the activity.xml, which is the graphical layout here. Okay, and instead of all of this, we will paste the fragment. Ctrl Shift F. So basically this is a map fragment. Okay, this is a map fragment, and that map fragment, its ID is map, and we are inserting it into the main activity. Very nice. So now you could see here, and the main activity is loading the main activity, thus it's loading the map. Now what is going to happen now is that we have basically added the map to the interface. We set up the required permissions and settings. We set up the project, the what do you call it, the Google APIs project, connected the project through the signature to our application, and now we are ready to run this. So basically I will go here, run as an Android application, go here to the emulator, and you can see that it is still launching. And what you will see, if everything goes well, you will be able to see. So now it's asking me where do you want to run it. I run it here, say okay, and you could see that boom, you got the map. Getting this map is an indication that everything seems to be working. That means that you have connected the API correctly, you have created the key correctly, and you are receiving maps. And you could see here that by default you get the zoom in, zoom out. You also can pan. Okay, and you could see that you can double click to zoom and so on. Okay, as you can see, this is North Carolina. Now another interesting functionality is that, say for example I would like to play with this map, okay, retrieve this map and do something interesting with this map. Now this map is in a fragment, okay, and I'd like to get access to that fragment, to this map, and to do something useful with it. Okay, so basically let's say for example I'd like to change it into a satellite kind of a map. So this map is a class which is called Google Map. If you do this, there's Google Map. I'll say G map. Okay, it's a Google Map. Okay. Now to retrieve the Google Map, you need to actually retrieve the fragment. So we'll say to retrieve the fragment, you need to get the fragment manager. Get fragment manager dot, then find fragment by ID, r.id.map. Okay, so that returns it. We need to cast this to a map fragment. Okay, so we casted it to a map fragment, and then there is get map. So if this gets the map fragment, there is get map, this retrieves the map, and we could say g map equals this. So this gets you the g map. Now the problem is this get fragment is available only if you have, see, if we scroll over, this requires that your minimum version is version 11. I'll go to the manifest file, I'll change this to 11. Okay, you can also avoid doing this by, instead of using the fragment manager, you can use another kind of activity called the fragment activity, and to do that you have to use the support libraries and so on, but I'm not going to use it here. But anyways, you see here I got the map. So now what I could do is, this is the map. I could do, for example, set map type. So what do you want the map type to be? I'll use one of the constants, Google Map dot, I want it to be a satellite map. Okay, so now this means that you are setting the map to be a satellite map. Very nice. So if you run this now, so with what you're going to run it on, and you can see here that the train, and you can see that the map now is a satellite map. All right, very nice. Now, what if I would like to, for example, I'd like to zoom somewhere. Okay, so let me show you a small. Before I do the zoom, let me instead of the satellite, I will just make it normal, and then let me, for example, add what do you call it? Adding the functionality which enables me to through the map to recenter the map along my location. Okay, so enable me, for example, to redraw the map based on my location, and you can do that very easily by enabling location on the map itself. So you could do gmap dot, you could say, for example, set my location enabled to true. But if you do that, you have to make sure that you have the permissions required to do that, and we do actually. We have defined, and you see we have defined and the course location permissions, which enable us to find the location. Okay, so now if you run this now, we'll play with this a little bit. Okay, so you see here, you see this small, what do you call it, this small box that has this location indicator on top of it. If I click on it, it tries to find where you are. Okay, and it thinks that I'm in Washington. Okay, so it thinks that I'm in Washington DC. That is where this emulator is very handy. You see here on the right there is this GPS thing. If I click on the GPS, I can type in a lat and long, and that will change the lat and long your location on the emulator. Or, for example, see, the problem is I don't know the lat and long of Charlotte, for example. I could click on this map button, and then it asks me what are you looking for? I say Charlotte, North Carolina, and it moved me to Charlotte, North Carolina. So now my current location here is Charlotte, North Carolina. You see, this sends this new location to Charlotte, to the emulator. So now if I click on this box again, it will try to recenter in Charlotte, North Carolina. Very nice. So actually I can play with this. For example, I could say I'd like to know where, for example, Chicago, Illinois is. Do that. So now my location is in Chicago. Okay. So now if I go here and I click on this, it is going to Chicago. All right, very nice. So you see it remapped it to Chicago. So you can, these are like fake locations. You can change the location of where you are using this tool. Okay. So now that's one interesting thing. Okay, now can I zoom in? Let's go back to Charlotte. So I'll go back to Charlotte, North Carolina. Right, so we are back in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now if you click here, it goes back to Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay, so we need to zoom out a little bit, and you can see here that we are in Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay, now, so what else we could do using this map? So now I have set location enabled. Let's say, for example, I'd like to animate to a specific location. Okay, so, or I can change where I am based on a specific. So, for example, this is the long and lat for Charlotte, North Carolina. So this is the lat, and this is the long for Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, very nice. So now, what if I am, say, in, say for example, Chicago. Let's go to Chicago. Okay, and we click back here, so you could see that where we are is in Chicago. Now what if I would like to move the map to some other location? Okay, programmatically I could do gmap dot, and then I could say animate camera, and you can see here that the animate camera requires some kind of an update. So if you go here, it tells you, okay, so like if we pick this one, it tells you that this one requires some kind of an update, which is of camera type. So now actually to get a camera update, there's a camera update factory, camera update factory dot, and then you can see here there are a lot of methods. One of them is you want to go to some other position, for example, go to some other position, long and let. Okay, you can go to a new long and let, for example, or you can go to a new long and let with zoom. Okay, so now we can do long and let. I'll say new let long, and you can see here I can specify the let and long. So I can go to new let and long, and if I want to go to Charlotte, North Carolina, I need to find out where the long and let for Charlotte, North Carolina, and this is the estimated long and let of Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay, let and long I mean. Okay, and then the long is minus 80.84 31 to 67. This is 869. Okay, so now you could see that this is the this is trying to animate the camera somewhere else. Okay, so now I'll run this again. Okay, starts somewhere. Okay, and you can see the map moved to North Carolina. I can also do movement with zooming. So there is another camera animate. I could say g map dot animate camera factory, camera update factory dot new long and let with zoom. Okay, so I can specify where I want to be while at the same time also zoom. Okay, say for example I want to zoom 13, which is good enough to see the street level, so that instead of just going to North Carolina, I would like also to, or to Charlotte, North Carolina, I'd like to also zoom to the city. Do this, okay, and you can see now, boom, the map is zooming to Charlotte, North Carolina. This is not where I am. Where I am is where actually the device is. You click here, this is in Chicago. Okay, but you can change the location of the map using this approach. Okay, now you can also add markers. Like say for example I'd like to add a marker at Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay, adding markers is straightforward, and there is a lot of help online to adding markers. I could do gmap dot add marker. Okay, and then it needs a marker option. Very nice. So what I will do is I'll say new marker options dot, and then you could do set, or for example you could do what is the position of the marker. Okay, and say for example the position of the marker will be Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay, that's the position of the marker, and you can change it. Dot, you can also change it and say what's the title of the marker. Say for example the title is welcome to CLT. Control Shift F. Okay, and basically what you can do is you could do new, and then you can let me just make this a little bit neater. I'll do this you could see. So I'm creating a new marker option, and then I'm adding some kind of parameters to it. Okay, and that's gonna add a marker. Okay, so where is the marker going to be? It's going to be here, and then this is what happens when you click on the marker. So let's run this again. Okay, and you can see that there is a marker. When you click on the marker, it tells you welcome to CLT. Okay, CLT is the airport code for Charlotte, Charlotte International Airport. So now you can also have map events. Like say for example I'd like to I can also access map events. Like for example, you click on a map location. So what all you have to do is just gmap dot set on map click listener. Okay, and it needs an on map click listener. So say new on map click listener, and you can see here is the interface that implements it, and we're done. Okay, so now it's not happy for some reason because it needs okay, so we have to specify the parent class. So we'll do this. We'll say new on. Okay, you need to say Google Maps. Okay, Google Maps dot. All right. So this now it should be happy. Google Maps. Google Maps. Sorry, not Google Maps. Google Map dot and so on. So basically, this is um, the the on map click listener, and you see when you click somewhere on the map it gets you the long inlet of where you clicked. Very nice. So what I could do is I can create a marker at that location just for fun. Say g map dot add marker, new marker options dot set dot position, and then I'll pass it. I'll call this position. Alright, very nice. So basically all I'm doing is that once you click on the map, I will put a marker there. Very nice. Okay, you can see here that the on map click, it gives you the position where you clicked. Very nice. So let's run this again. Just experimenting again here with the map. Alright, so we are in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's click here, and you can see there's a marker that gets created. Every time I click, a marker gets added. Very nice. Okay, so we're adding markers. Excellent. You can also have on long click listener and so on. So you can see here there is g map dot set on long on map long click listener. Okay, so that means if you just long click instead of just clicking, it will add the marker. So what we have seen is that how you can create a project that has a map in it, how you can add markers to the map. You can look also at the reference for creating paths and polygons and all sort of shapes on maps. I hope this was useful. Thank you.